Aloha, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in to yet another week of Trauma Recovery University. I'm your host, Athena Moberg, and with me in the green room is your amazing co-host, Bobby Parrish. And tonight's topic is careers. As survivors, as you know, if you're watching this, you're an adult survivor of child abuse, probably childhood sexual abuse, and you've probably had a little bit of career drama go on in your life from some point, whether it was in your teens, in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s. You maybe have been job hopping. You couldn't hold down some sort of a job. It could be due to mental illness, physical illness, brain damage, executive functioning. There could just be a million different reasons. And sometimes we don't equate any of these reasons to anything that's lasting from our childhood sexual abuse. You just shame yourself your entire life thinking that you're a complete loser. My father was right. My father was right. I'll never amount to anything. My mother was right. I'm a lazy ass. Whatever it might be. Sorry for the cursing if this is like people watching with their kids. I don't know what it is about traveling. But so anyway, we're going to unpack all of this and talk about just the different challenges that are very specific to survivors of childhood sexual abuse, how we can cope with those challenges, how we can overcome those challenges, and at the same time, we really want to be sure to acknowledge the difficulties that we have as survivors so that once we address the issues, instead of sweeping them under the rug, nice and neat, pat them down, let's not talk about that because that's in the past. Once we stop doing that and we address it head on, then we can sort of pick it apart, acknowledge it, grieve it, and recover. And that's the whole point of this broadcast, is so that we can heal and live with peace and wholeness and we can fully recover. So that's always my prayer and my goal, and Bobby's as well. And I just can't wait for this exciting topic of careers as they pertain to adult survivors of childhood sexual abuse. And for those of you who've watched all like 60 or 70 hours of our episodes, you're noticing that I have a weird background, and that's because I'm traveling and it's a lot going on. But enough about me, enough about all of that. I want to give you a very special welcome if you are listening on a podcast platform such as iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, SoundCloud, or even iHeartRadio. And I want to say a very special thank you to our amazing assistant who is making all of our transitions onto iTunes and everything that goes on behind the scenes on YouTube. Harriet, which I think I want to start calling her HD or HDub or something really cute and fun because she's just amazing. So thank you, Harriet. Welcome. If you're listening, we want to remind you this is a video broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV at Trauma Recovery University, or over on our Roku channel, which is at Roku, or over on our YouTube channel, which is at youtube.com/Trauma Recovery University TV. And leave us a comment, give us a thumbs up. If this video has helped you in any way, please share it with your friends. And a special thank you to everybody in Stuart, Florida, and Montgomery and Birmingham, Alabama, in helping me launch a strategy guide for adult survivors of childhood sexual abuse and get me to number 26 on Amazon. I just wanted to share my joy with you. Take it away, Bobby.
Hey, everybody. Yes, we're so excited for Athena and the marvelous performance of her book, because she's marvelous. So hop on over to Amazon and look for that. And the short title is Yes, I Can by Athena Moberg.
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
You. Not me.
No, I meant I was owning that.
Oh, yes, you. Yes, you can.
I can, darn it. And so such a perfect topic for tonight in terms of talking about careers and all the things that we're going to unpack having to do with that. So yes, go over to Amazon, look for Athena's book. She has another one coming out in January, a devotional. So make sure you watch for that one as well. And we are going to head into some content here in a few minutes. I want to make sure that everyone gets a trigger warning. This is a broadcast that talks about childhood abuse and at times talks specifically about childhood sexual abuse. So please practice excellent self-care while you're watching. And if you get triggered, please just go ahead and turn the broadcast off. You can always come back to it. They are uploaded onto YouTube within several hours after we're done. And you can come back, pick up where you left off. You can listen to a podcast. You can watch on Roku TV. So it's not like if you turn it off now, you don't get any chance to watch it in the future.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure that you know that the handouts that we use during our broadcasts are available on the NoMoreShameProject.com website. Hop on over to downloadable tab there on the website and click on that, and it will give you access to all of our downloadable one pages. Those are the one-page resources that we use in every video. Partial education and then partial coping strategies and tips. So don't forget to get that one, and we'll put ours up here in a few minutes to start talking about content. If you are triggered by tonight's broadcast, you can reach out to our friends at RAINN, RAINN, the Rape, Abuse, Incest National Network, and they are at 1-800-656-HOPE. They also have a crisis chat feature on their website, rainn.org, RAINN.org. If you are in the UK, you can contact Joe at the Samaritans. Is it .org, Athena?
Yeah, jo@samaritans.org. Email Joe, and they have they'll be available to respond to you. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's within 24 hours. So
yes, the Samaritans are the go-to resource that we provide in the UK. You can also use their crisis chat feature on RAINN if you're in the UK, but you can't use the 1-800 number. So we're so excited that you're here, and we are thrilled to be unpacking this topic. And Athena, anything else that we can add before we go ahead?
Well, it's No More Shame November, and I know we have our second annual anthology coming out. I'm not sure what date it's being published or where we're at on all that. I know it's been quite a busy couple of months, but I'm not sure. Do you have any information on that, Bobby?
Right now, we're just in the middle of the process. No More Shame Volume 1 should be coming out by the end of the year. We're republishing that book trope. But the other one, we're having a few more problems with, so I'll give you an update on that one when we get it.
Okay.
So.
No, that's okay. I wasn't really sure. I should have talked with you off the air about it, but I just wasn't sure because I know this is kind of the month that we sort of push for throughout the entire year. And I want to do a little plug for you guys and remind you that June is PTSD month, and a huge percentage, up in the 90 percentile of adult survivors of childhood sexual abuse, live with either post-traumatic stress disorder or complex post-traumatic stress disorder. So I'm personally going to be involved in some really awesome fundraisers for PTSD and just getting the word out, and sort of I really want to begin cross-pollinating our audiences so that we can grow our advocacy platform and really grow our reach and reach more people, because I know that just because you're a veteran living with PTSD or a car accident survivor living with PTSD, that doesn't disqualify you from being an adult survivor of childhood sexual abuse. So the more we reach out and the more we just connect with our community that are living with different types of mental illness, I know that those survivors that have been living in silence and perhaps only addressing part of their trauma, they could receive the community and the level of recovery that they deserve. And I would love for us to be a catalyst for that. So,
well, and not to mention the fact that some of the things that we talk about, like grounding strategies, coping with triggers, complex versus classic PTSD, those are applicable to all PTSD survivors. So we have so many things to offer, and not everything is going to be a perfect fit for everyone, but we want to make sure that anyone who can benefit from the information we share gets it and knows it's out there and can make access to it, can have access to it, make access. So you're going to crash through a wall like the Kool-Aid man.
I want to say a very special hello to anybody that's tuning in live today, the 16th of November, No More Shame November 2015, and welcome you. This is a live Q&A broadcast, and if you have any questions for us, as you can see on our little banners here, you can send us a tweet using the hashtag No More Shame. I need to find my phone. And that way I can answer your guys' tweets and see if you're sending in any specific questions. If you have a question regarding something specific to the topic of careers and you are an adult survivor of childhood sexual abuse, please send us a tweet using the hashtag No More Shame and tag us. I'm at Athena Moberg and Bobby is at Bobby L. Parrish. So yeah, I think that does it. I can't tell you guys how amazing and validating and incredible it is to share my truth with so many people and share a message of hope with so many people and have them respond in the same way that all of our other community members have responded. I don't know. I haven't told you about this, Bobby, but because I'm going to see you tomorrow live in person. I'm on my way to Texas, you guys. So, but for some reason, I had sort of compartmentalized things in my head prior to me taking this trip during No More Shame November. And I think I had sort of thought, oh, well, I can be brave with my sexual abuse survivor community because they're my peeps. My peeps, where you at? Like, you're right there, like always. And I don't know. I think I just felt like I would not be able to be brave if I was standing in front of an audience of hundreds of people that were normals. And I don't know, it was like this lie I was believing, and I was so nervous and so scared and terrified that I wouldn't be well received or something. I don't know what my preconceived notions were, but they were clearly limiting beliefs that were keeping me from using my voice for good. So, for the most part, you guys, I feel like I was very well received and I got to speak. I've gotten to speak. I can't remember now how many times, but anyway, that's inconsequential. I just want to share with you guys how grateful I am for you strengthening me and encouraging me and praying for me so that I could be brave and speak not only to you guys, my family, my friendlies, but that I could go out into like complete and total public and just be like, hey, yeah, what's up? So this is what happened in my childhood and I'm going on a tour and telling the world about it. And I don't know, I just feel like it's so empowering or something. It's just new, you know?
Well, you know, I think this is an excellent tie-in to our topic because, you know, this morning in chat, we talked about how hard it is for survivors when our careers are so hit and miss. You know, we can develop a career for a little bit and then something happens. And, you know, like I'll use myself, for example, I developed a career after college and then I hit a horrific bout of depression and boom, my career crashed. And then after I recovered, I had to start all over again and, you know, crash. And it was just a repeated thing like this. And I think the excellent point that you're making, Athena, is that when we're working and we're doing what we love and people are receiving us well, it is so empowering and it is healing. And we are able to step into our power in a new way that we hadn't before. But because of the things that so many of us suffer from, the after effects of our abuse, many survivors don't get to experience that. We don't get to feel the, you know, moment of empowerment. Our career isn't a source of healing. And I know that's really hard. And that makes me really sad to know that so many survivors miss out on that awesome feeling that you're feeling right now, having gone on this trip and, shared your heart and soul in the career that is right where you want to be.
I didn't even know that this is where I wanted to be. And thank you for acknowledging all of that, Bobby, and for saying that. I think we're doing a vision casting and we're sort of planning out the year 2016. I think part of what I would love, like career-wise and just in moving forward and sharing with our community for 2016, I would love to sort of maybe set up like a virtual like workshop of like finding your purpose or finding your gifts. And I mean, I can already think of people that would be great leaders or at least great co-facilitators or volunteers or something for a virtual workshop just like that. I mean, I'm thinking about our community right now, and I mean, look at all of I'm talking to you guys, I'm talking to you beautifuls. So many of you are so gifted. It blows my mind. This is completely not on the one page. The one page is all about, this is the truth, this is how to cope with the truth. Bam. And like, it's straight up. So, and there's no fluff. So if you're sick of hearing us talk, then fast forward on the YouTube till you see the one page pop up. But I want to tell you guys something right now. I want to encourage you. Like, I'm thinking of Jack. Okay, so Jack is gifted. He writes. He is an artist. He plays the piano. He's just gifted artistically. He's ridiculously gifted artistically. And just finding that confidence and just asserting that and sort of being able to hone that. And then like his wife is amazingly gifted as well. And she's so articulate and she's well-spoken and she's patient and she's an encourager and she's a nurturer. And then I'm thinking of the slew of authors that are in our survivor community and they're just gifted writers. I'm thinking of Nico Starr just off the top of my head. Just when she just types a tweet, it's like poetic. I mean, it's like effortless, or she makes it seem as though it's effortless. I mean, she's just gifted. And I mean, I could go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. I mean, obviously, look at Rachel, look at you, Bobby. I mean, seriously, our survivor community, like what we lack in executive functioning and administrative capabilities that are, super whatever, we make up for in spades on the creative side. And I just feel like if we could do like a discover your purpose or like hone that giftedness, sort of a virtual workshop or something, don't you think that would be powerful and very empowering? And I mean, I don't know. What do you think, Bobby? Comment on that. Like, I know we're brainstorming here, but like comment on that seriously.
I think it would be really powerful because we all have gifts. We all have talents. Just because something happened to us when we were a child that put a bit of a damper on our capacity to do that full time or for years in a stretch doesn't mean that we can't use them. We just need the right situation and the right support and the right help. So I don't, people treat the issues that we struggle with so differently than if, I didn't have an arm or, I walked on crutches or something, but the reality is that so many of us struggle with a brain disease, and we have some disabilities. And if we were provided with the appropriate amount of information, empowerment, help, and assistance, we could be so successful in our careers.
I want to help make that happen. I want to help make that happen. I want us to just somehow be some sort of a catalyst for that to happen. I know it's late, but it's like better late than never, maybe. I don't know. I mean, it's just me brainstorming.
That's okay. We'll put it on the vision board.
Yeah.
So, everyone, let us know what you think and whether you think that would be helpful for you. And one of the points that we made in chat today, and for those of you who aren't familiar with our process, we have 3 Twitter chats a week. And the first one is on Monday morning at 10 a.m. Pacific time, and that's mainly for our UK audience because it's 6 o'clock in the evening for them. And then there's this one that you're watching now, which is an interactive Twitter chat and a video broadcast. And then we have another one on Tuesday evenings at 6 p.m. PST. And this morning, so many people talked about how it was later in life that they finally found the career that they loved and they were very successful at. So, don't think that if you don't have it all figured out by the time you're 40, it's not going to happen or it's too late. No, it's never too late. I don't care how old you are. You can still find your passion, find your purpose, find your calling, and get out there and make a difference, or create a position or a job that works for you. Someone talked this morning in chat too about how they don't fit into that traditional 9 to 5 at a desk kind of job. And I think she even said, I wish I could remember who said it. She said, I'm not a square peg that goes in a round hole or a round hole that goes in a square peg. She said, I'm star-shaped.
Oh my gosh. I think that may have been either Kat or Dusana.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was Kirsty. I can't remember if it was Kirsty or Kat or Dusana. Anyway, it was a great chat this morning. So interactive. And I love picturing myself star-shaped. It just made my whole day for some reason. I'm like, I'm star-shaped. And I think, and Jack quickly responded to all of us saying that we were rock star-shaped. So, I mean, we are all rock stars, you guys. I'm going to continue to remind all of us that we are not our past. We are not what was done to us. I met so many people over the past 10 days that were raped and molested by their fathers and grandfathers and brothers and cousins and oh, you guys, that's not who we are. That's what happened to us, and it affects us, and it's frustrating that it affects us because it's hard to get past and it's hard to recover from. But we are all rock stars. We're rock star shaped. Hello, like we're doing amazing things. We're reaching out. We're blazing. Like, hello, Bobby. I don't even know if you favorited it or anything. You did not respond, but I am saying right now, you, Bobby, you're a trailblazer. You're blazing trails that have never even been thought of before. Like, you're starting Twitter chats and communities and encouraging people and encouraging me to like grow into myself and write books and volunteer and serve people. I mean, you guys, we're making a difference. This is happening. This is happening right now. Like, what we're doing is huge. And I never really understood the impact and the gravity of it all. And gravity, so cool. I wonder if Rachel knew, like, wow, what we're doing is really impactful. Probably, she's so brilliant. But I mean, here I was, like, I got to meet one of our community members yesterday, and it was so amazing. She came to one of the speaking engagements that I had in Alabama, and she sat next to me and she got acknowledged for being there. And she stood at the little table where I was standing to like talk to people and sort of invite them into our community, and handed out flyers with all my information on it. And I mean, it was just so awesome and amazing to meet you guys in person. You guys are making a difference. You're making a huge difference. And I mean, Tiffany was standing right there with me, and she heard person after person after person after person come up and just say, don't stop what you're doing. Whatever you do, don't stop what you guys are doing. You're making a huge difference. For every time you raise your voice and share and share what is going on in your life, for every single time you do that, someone decides not to commit suicide. I work in ministry, and 90% of the people that I help and that I minister to are all suicidal because of some sort of child abuse. What you're doing is making a difference. Promise me you're never going to stop. I mean, this was serious stuff. I was like standing there in tears, you guys, like seriously. So we're not going to stop. We're going to continue to share and continue to reach you, because you guys are amazing. You are star-shaped. You guys are making a difference whether you know it or not. And if you're not yet plugged in or feeling like you're making a difference, ask us. We need volunteers. I got an offer for 5 different people in Florida to each volunteer once a week or no, to each volunteer once a month. That means that we'll have one volunteer every week of the month. That's amazing. We need it. So anyway, I digress. Bobby. Oh, it looks like we lost Bobby, you guys. Okay, so I might move into content. Actually, Bobby has the screen share. I can probably find the screen share here in a second. But I want to give a very special thank you to anyone that hosted me while I was out talking. Hi, Bobby, you're back. I was like getting ready to pull up the screen share. I'm like, maybe I'll just continue to talk for a few minutes. So I know we're right at 50. We're right at 8:30. So did you have any comment on that, Bobby?
I didn't hear a lot of it because my mic went out. So.
Oh no, I was just sharing what a difference everyone in our community is making, and that I was reminded last night by a woman who ministers to many abuse survivors, and she says 90% of them are suicidal because of their abuse. And she said, whatever you do, you guys never stop what it is that you're doing, because each time you speak up, someone doesn't kill themselves.
Yes,
that's
I know
powerful.
The numbers are very high. They're very high. And when we speak up, we let someone else know they're not alone, and we help to decrease their shame when they know they're not alone. So, yes, we can't stop.
Nope. There's a song, we can't stop, we won't stop. I will not grace you with my singing voice right now. That is saved specifically for the car. I'm a car singer.
Okay, shall we share the one page?
Absolutely.
As soon as I get myself to.
While you get the one page up, I'm going to go try to find my phone so that I can respond to people's tweets while you are going through and teaching the content.
Okay.
Sound good?
Okay, it's a deal.
Okay. All right.
All right, so let's talk one page. We are going to talk about careers in depth here right now, everybody. So let's take a look at our one page. Here, let me make it just a tiny bit bigger. Whoa, not that big. Okay. A lot of it are things that we alluded to, we talked about a little bit already, but let's just kind of go over and refresh our memories. The after effects of child abuse can be debilitating. They can be disabling. We have physical illnesses, and we've talked before here about damage that can be done to your immune system due to our brain sitting in that toxic soup of fight or flight chemicals when we were a child, because we were so often terrified and threatened and felt like our very survival was at stake. And for some of us, and many of us today, it was. And brains were not meant. They just were not meant to sit in that chemical 24/7 for days at a time. That it was meant to be something that, came in, gave us that burst of adrenaline, help us to, breathe more shallowly, to conserve oxygen, run fast, get away. It wasn't meant to be something that was a consistent presence in our brain. And so much research now has pointed out that not only does that do damage to our brain, but it does damage to our autoimmune system. And so many survivors now struggle with things like fibromyalgia, celiac disease,
lupus,
rheumatoid arthritis, chronic fatigue syndrome. Athena, is that you? It sounds like you're breathing in my ear here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's better now. That was weird. Can you say something again?
I'm holding my breath.
No, don't do that.
Okay.
It sounded like the ocean was kind of roaring. Okay. Yeah, you guys, we're going to have to at some point make a blooper reel. It's just going to have to do it. So those physical illnesses, which in and of themselves, those right there can be so debilitating and so disabling. But then you add in things like mental health problems, like Athena was talking about. So many of us struggle with PTSD. Many of us who sustained significant damage over a long period of time in our childhood deal with complex PTSD. We deal with anxiety. We deal with depression. All of those things make working and building a career difficult. And then you add in the damage to our executive functioning. And that's the part of our brain that controls the long-term planning, decision-making, logic and reasoning. And there's also damage to our memory. And those things are often at the very core of many jobs. So if we can't do those things, if we struggle with those things, then that makes it hard. It especially makes it hard to hold down jobs that require a significant amount of executive functioning.
Yeah, like
So,
administrative stuff makes me have a panic attack, like literally, like I can't breathe for some reason.
right, yes. And I worked for a while as a workers' comp adjuster in the state of Oregon, and it killed me because the job was all about making decisions and all about, making sure that the 300 files that you were overlooking, all the bills got paid on time and all the doctors got contacted and all the phone calls got returned and everybody got their decision within the 30 time frame. And it made me nuts.
Yeah.
Not literally, but you know what I mean.
No, it just sounds, yeah, I know. I understood what you meant. It does sound overwhelming.
Yes, overwhelming. So we may have experienced multiple job losses due to our impairments. Sometimes we're limited in the type of job we can take. Other times we have to settle for something which left us unfulfilled. And I have heard this repeatedly, that survivors are often what we call underemployed, meaning that they are doing a job where their capabilities are so much more, but they feel like it's all they can handle. Or their illnesses make it difficult for them to, work full time, so they work part time at a job where they're underemployed. And it's a thing, and it's real, and it's very hard to deal with, because then you aren't working in a job that really fulfills you and meets your passions and helps you to walk away from the job at the end of the day going, yeah, I did it. I made a difference. And then some abuse survivors have never been able to be a part of the workforce because their impairment is so significant. We had people this morning in chat talking about that and how that is such a struggle, because, next paragraph, our society places so much value on what you do for a living. You go to a social gathering and you greet someone, and the first question is, oh, hey, how are you? Followed, boom, right on the heels of that is, so what do you do?
Yeah.
And then when our response is less than what they deem to be acceptable, then oftentimes their whole perception of us, their manner of treating us, changes. And we feel that, that judgment. And we can sometimes start to feel less than ourselves. Who we are in society's eyes is often equated to what job we hold. Society says we are defined by what we do, which is so wrong, because we want to be defined by what our qualities are, what kind of a human being we are, not according to what job we hold. By that rationale, we are not a brave, intelligent overcomer of huge obstacles who works as a janitor, counselor, or writer, but rather we are a janitor, counselor, or writer. Because again, people look at us and say, well, you are what you do. So if you are, quote unquote, only a janitor, then you must not have a whole lot of value. which is so hard, especially when it comes to people who are disabled. And when they say, "What do you do?" And you say, "Well, I'm disabled. I'm not working right now." Oftentimes the blowback for that is extreme, and it damages our self-esteem and our self-worth.
Yeah.
The shallow judgment can be so frustrating and shame evoking for the courageous survivors who have fought their whole lives just to prove to themselves that they are different than their abuser. They are indeed worthy of the same level of kindness, dignity, love, recognition, and respect as every other person in society. I think if people knew the things that we had overcome, they would be amazed. And they would look at us and say, "I have no idea how you did that. I have no idea how you survived that." But they don't look at that. Instead, they look at what we do for a living, which is never something that we want to be judged according to.
I want to share with you guys, I don't know if there are any Beatles fans out there. I'm a huge Beatles fan. There was a modern rendition of a Beatles tribute movie back in 2006. So almost 10 years ago. It was called Across the Universe. And there is a scene in this movie where Jude and Lucy, and all the characters are named after Beatles songs and everything. And anyway, it's a Thanksgiving table scene, and the one son is dropping out of Princeton. He's like, "I think I'm going to drop out, and I'm going to borrow your car, Dad, and I'm going to drive across country." And it's kind of a comedy scene, and the mom goes, "Ooh, like Jack Kerouac," and then Lucy's really impressed that her mom knows who that is, and she says, "I read." And then Uncle Teddy, like the dad's brother, says, "But don't you understand that?" Because they said, well, what are you going to do? And then Max, Lucy's brother, Jude's friend, says, why does it always have to be about what I do? What do I do? What do I do? And then he talks about this exact topic that we're on right now. And then this is the most brilliant quote of the entire movie. Max says, "No, Uncle Teddy, it is not about what we do. It is about who we are."
I love it.
Right? And then
Yes.
he goes, "What do you think, Jude?" And then Jude's a visitor from England. He's never been to Thanksgiving. He doesn't understand anything. He goes, "Well, surely it's not about what we do, but how we do it." Like, it's like leading into like Beatles lyrics and stuff, but I just love what Max says. It's not about what we do that defines who we are.
Yeah.
Who we are it lends to what we do. Like, it's about who we are, not what we do. So anyway, I just kept thinking about that during chat this morning, and then just now I thought of it again. But if any of you have seen Across the Universe, it's a great Beatles tribute movie.
Well, I think I said this in chat this morning. When I die, what I want to be I don't want to be remembered by my career. I want to be remembered for who I was.
Yeah.
Not,
You said you wanted to be remembered for your loving kindness.
Yeah, I want to be remembered for the kind of person I am.
Yeah.
Not what I do to make money. I never want to be known for what I do to make money. Now, maybe sometimes I might be lucky enough, say, for example, if I loved to, sing opera, and that was my favorite thing in the whole wide world, and it brought me so much fulfillment. And it just so happens that, you can sing opera for a living. That might be another thing. But still, when I die, I don't want to be remembered for how I made money.
Yeah. One of my abusers, Bobby, you already know this, and you guys that are familiar with our broadcast know this, but they used to call me up on the phone, and we would talk on the phone quite often. And the topic always invariably would end up on, "Well, don't you feel so bad. You must feel so horrible that your husband has to work at a job that he hates because you don't make enough money. I mean, really, you must just feel so terrible. Gosh, don't you feel terrible that you don't make enough money so your husband has to make all the money? Like, gosh, don't you feel like a horrible person, basically, is what they're saying. And I finally just had to say, you know what? I'm sorry. Like, this is after I realized that those words would shred me for days and I would literally not be able to get out of bed because it was so devastating for me. But talk about judgment and talk about pain and talk about ridiculous comments. I mean, don't I feel like a horrible person because I don't make enough money? I mean, are you kidding me right now? No, I'm not a horrible person. Do I think it sucks that I don't make a lot of money? And do I wish I made more money? Sure. But am I a horrible person?
No.
No, not last time I checked. Why? Because I love people and I'm kind and I contribute to society through my unique gifts that I was born with, like helping others and supporting others. And yeah, no, I'm not a horrible person. So anyway, you guys, if people are giving you those messages, we're sharing with you right now that that's not okay. And that's not healthy. And it's not normal. I had to throw the kibosh on that. That freight train is no longer allowed in the station. I threw the kibosh on those conversations. No more. No more. I had to tell this person, I'm sorry. When you talk to me, the words you choose are death. You do not speak life into my life. You do not speak joy or encouragement or kindness. You speak death over my life, and you're judgmental and abusive, and I'm sorry, you're not allowed to talk to me anymore. Period. And, that was almost 400 days ago, and I'm a new person.
For a minute, I thought you were going to say 400 years ago, and I'm like, wow.
No, that was almost 400 days ago, Bobby.
I was going to have to call you Noah.
Right. No, I mean, seriously, it's been
Yes.
over a year, Bobby. It's been over a year. And what the type of growth that can happen in your life when you cut out those messages of death and destruction. Seriously.
Yeah, that toxic judgment absolutely makes a difference. Absolutely makes a difference, you guys. And we'll talk about it a little bit under our coping tips and strategies.
Yeah.
For those of us who are mentally and physically impaired as a result of our child abuse, we have oftentimes struggled with working. We can feel a great deal of shame, frustration, and disappointment in ourselves. We want to have a wonderful career, but our brain, body, and mental health make that very hard. It is yet one more loss we must grieve if we're going to move forward in our recovery. And it can feel very overwhelming. And you guys, it is a loss. It is a loss to grieve. It's not your fault. I know so many survivors who have struggled in their career and they have blamed themselves because they're lazy or stupid or just can't get it together. And that's not true.
They were told those things. Those were old tapes that are playing.
And you know what? It's possible that someone told you that in a job. Some unkind, horrific boss told you that in a job. And it's not true. You are none of those things. You are a person who has impairments due to your abuse. That's it. You're not lazy. You're not stupid. You need to learn how to find things that are fulfilling to do, find ways and support and strategies to cope with the limitations that you do have. But unfortunately, that support is so limited in this world. So limited. And like Athena and I were talking about a little bit earlier, holding workshops and us doing trainings on finding your gifts. And then where do you find support? What do you do? All of that is something that our community needs so desperately. Because we all have enormous gifts and talents. We might just need support and encouragement in ways that people who don't have abuse in their lives have never struggled with.
Yeah.
So here are some tips and strategies to help you cope with career struggles. And we'll move our little hand. There we go. Even though our society judges us according to our job, we are still free not to do that. Work towards defining yourself by your characteristics, qualities, and talents. Now, unfortunately, one of the side effects of having been abused as a child is that we're left with no self-worth. And so it's hard for us to sit down and come up with a list of positive characteristics, qualities, and talents that we might have. But the reality is that you have them. You do. And you have tremendous worth and value. You just have not received the appropriate support and encouragement that you are entitled to and that you deserve to be happy and healthy. And that's not your fault. Our society is severely lacking in services for people who have undergone trauma. That's not your fault. But work towards that. Do what you can in your recovery to work towards the point where you define yourself by your positive characteristics, qualities, and talents, rather than your job, rather than what you do to make money. If working is fulfilling, but is not possible due to impairments for your abuse, look for a volunteer opportunity that can meet that need. I know that when you're on disability, especially things like Social Security disability, you are limited in the amount of money that you can make, that you can earn every year. And so you can, work up to that point. But after that, if you need something or you want to do something that is fulfilling, it may come down to looking for a volunteer position, and there's nothing wrong with that. Look for something that is flexible. So when your depression is really bad, you can, back off and nurture yourself, or something that doesn't require a lot of executive functioning. There are all sorts of opportunities out there that can suit and be built around what you're good at. So don't hesitate to look into a volunteer opportunity that might fit with what you want and what you need.
I have a couple of comments here, Bobby.
Okay.
Coming in on Twitter on the live feed. Donald Cribb says, yes, survivors take in those negative statements so easily due to abuse programming. It takes work to come out of that or deprogram. I want to acknowledge that comment and say that is so true, Donald.
Yes, it is. It very much is. That is part of our programming, especially if we were abused over a significant period of time as children. That becomes hardwired into our thought process. And it does take quite a while to unwire that.
I still have the old tapes. I haven't rewired yet. I mean, I'm still there. Gosh, it's hard.
It is hard. It is hard. And we're not gonna tell you that it's easy. We're not gonna tell you that you snap your fingers and everything's gonna be better tomorrow.
It's not a wave a wand, one and done.
Nope.
No. And Donald says you have tremendous worth and value. You have not yet received the support you deserve. That is so true. What a great statement to say to all survivors, Donald. And then August says, being assertive is a huge trigger for me, and I have to fight to survive every day. I question how I can be successful. Any comments, Bobby?
I hear that.
Yeah,
I hear that so strong. I can relate.
Me too, August.
Athena and I have talked before, at least, off the air with one another, about how triggering it is to have to stand up and voice our wants and our needs, which is exactly what being assertive is about. And when we do that, it can be so frightening, because when we were children, chances are we didn't get to have wants or needs.
No.
And if we voiced one, we got smacked. Our childhood was about meeting the needs and wants of our abusers, our parents, if our childhood home was dysfunctional, a bully at school. It was not about our wants and needs. So now as an adult, to voice those, yeah, terrifying at first.
Being assertive is so terrifying. I was just writing back to August right now, which, by the way, welcome, August. I don't think I've ever seen you on our broadcast, and this is probably your first time. So welcome, welcome, welcome. We are so happy you're here. But like, honestly, Bobby, like I feel like being assertive, I don't know how to say this properly. Help me find the word, because I can't find this word, Bobby. But I almost feel like I have to like project a different persona, not like in a fake way, like I'm acting, but I almost feel like I have to like dig deep and think of the most assertive person I know and ask myself, like, what would my cousin Stephanie do? Like, how would my cousin Stephanie respond to this person right now? Because she is so unequivocally, unapologetically assertive, and she has taught me so much. And, like, what is that called? Like, I feel like projecting is the wrong word.
No. That is exactly how we learn as children. That is how our children learn. That's how they learn to do things like, that's how they learn to speak. They copy us. That's how we learn to do things. We look at someone else and we assimilate that behavior into our own. And initially when you're practicing, it's going to feel false, but it doesn't mean that it's going to stay that way forever. We have to continue to practice that skill until we have it down. The same way that, the first time you got on a bicycle, it was like, oh, Nelly, wow, I can't do this. I'm falling over. I'm going to hit my head. I'm going to die. But after a while, you find out how to balance, and you realize that you have to keep pedaling. You can't stop pedaling, and you're moving forward. And learning anything is very similar to that. We have to listen to the people around us who are giving us guidance, safe people. We have to watch what someone else is doing and see how they're doing it that feels successful and safe to us. And we have to use those as examples. Yeah. So, yeah, exactly. I think that's the way we learn. That's how we learn how to do things. And there's that old adage, fake it till you make it, which I don't endorse 100%. I know.
I feel like such a phony if I'm fake. And you want to know something interesting is one of my abusers used to say that all the time, like fake it till you make it, fake it till you make it. And you want to know something? I think I really did at some point in my life, especially back in my 20s, really embrace that, because I was faking it. I was definitely not qualified to be in the workforce. I had no skills and no training, but I applied for jobs that I didn't think I would ever get. And then once I got the job somehow, I just, which is, I don't advocate this or say this is how you should do things, you guys, because it wasn't the smartest thing for me to do. But that's how I kind of conquered my fears. I applied for jobs I didn't think I would ever get. And then once I got the job, I sort of just threw myself into it so that I could become the best at whatever I needed to do. And I somehow didn't get fired. So, which I don't know how I didn't get fired. I don't think I've ever been fired, but but I did think to myself, I think I'm faking it. It's like that fake it till you make it thing. Like, yeah. I remember embracing that.
Well, as survivors, we have excellent adaptation strategies. Mm-hmm. That's one of the ways that we learned to survive when we were a child. You looked at what someone else did, and that's how you figured out how to fit in.
Yeah.
That's how we figured out how to be safe. Okay.
Donald, I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No. It's one of the things that helps us to be successful. It just doesn't feel good.
Yeah, the word fake, I think, because we as survivors were tricked. Like many times we would have like one of our abusers saying, "Oh, come over here," and we were being groomed, and right. they would meet a need of ours, and then they would stab us with it and exploit us, or they would lure us, and then they would stab us and exploit us, and then they would lure us, and then they would exploit us, and then they would lure. Which to me, that's like the definition of fake. Like they really weren't being
Right.
kind.
It was manipulative.
It was fake kindness. It was just,
Right.
But Donald says it is hard to replace negative thoughts with positive ones. I think it takes 7 positives to undo 1 negative. And I would definitely have to agree. I almost think for me, it takes like 77 positives to undo 1 negative.
Well, we have to remind ourselves that it took, for some of us, a pattern of years for us to learn those horrible things, those horrible beliefs. They're not going to come undone in a New York minute.
Yeah.
We have to be patient with ourselves. We have to be compassionate and loving with ourselves. I wish it could happen overnight. I do. But it's not going to happen overnight. And when we judge ourselves because it doesn't happen overnight, it just makes things feel worse. Patience and compassion. I love those 2 words together.
Oh, me too. That's powerful. Oh, Simi just tweeted in and says, I never believed I was assertive until a therapist pointed it out to me. It was a revelation. And Sarah says, I can't assert my needs at all and am putting my job before my health. Okay, first of all, I want to acknowledge, Simi, you're a rock star. You're amazing. Yes, you are assertive. I want to acknowledge that, yes, you are assertive, and I love that about you. Sarah, sweet Sarah, I want to encourage you. I want to encourage you to change your verbiage from I can't assert my needs. I want to encourage you to say, up until now, I have struggled with asserting my needs, and I have put my job before my health, but I would like to do things differently or something. I just want to encourage you to just shift your verbiage a little bit so that it's not so self-defeating. I want you to shift your verbiage to something that is a little bit more empowering so that you can own it, so that it's not, life isn't just happening to you, so that you can sort of like, yes, I have struggled asserting my needs. And yes, I have put my job before my health, which I've done both of those things, by the way, Sarah, seriously, confession session. But I really have a strong desire to change that about myself. And I really want to learn how to assert my needs. And I want to learn how to not put my job before my health. Up until my son left for the Marine Corps, he was number one. He was before God. He was before me. He was before food. He was before everything. I made sure he had everything before I ever even took a breath, because I thought that was what I was supposed to do the opposite of what was done to me. But I learned this while I've been traveling. Someone said this quote, and Bobby, you will love this. It was from a therapist. This gal in the audience said, I had a revelation when my therapist told me, hello, 180 degrees away from dysfunctional is not healthy. Like the opposite, or the 180 degrees difference from unhealthy is not healthy, or dysfunctional is not healthy. It's still on that same plane. Like it's not like you can just go the absolute opposite. Like me.
Right. We can't go from extreme to extreme.
Exactly. It's the scary middle. Like that's like the visual I was getting. So yeah. Sarah, I just want to encourage you, sweetie. You are such a gift. I love your butterfly here, by the way, your avatar. And you have struggled to assert your needs at all. And you have put your job before your health. And I've done those things too. I confess that. But I have a deep desire to change that. I have a deep desire to change that. And Donald says, why do the negatives go in so easily, but the positives are foreign language to survivors? Ooh, that's a Bobby. Bobby, that's all you.
Well, that's because that's what we learned. We grew up in this toxic, dysfunctional soup of judgment, and you're never going to be worth anything. And what the blank is the matter with you? And I wish I never had you. I wish you didn't live here. Why can't you be like your brother? Why can't you be like your cousin? What in the blank is wrong with you today? Of course, the toxic things fit in easily with that. It's what we grew up with. It's what we know. Chances are, for many of us, I grew up in that, and then I married a man who said those kinds of things to me, and then I married another man who said those kinds of things to me. So, that's 40 some years of people telling me I wasn't worth the dirt I was walking on. And so those negative messages come in. It's like, hey, ho, familiar territory. I'm just going to sit right down here. Whereas a positive message comes in and it's like, hey, wait a minute. I'm not like all the other messages. I'm not sure this is where I belong. I'm going to leave. And we boot it back out of our head because it is not like the rest of our landscape, the rest of our internal landscape. And that's what we have to change, is that internal landscape in our head, so that positive thoughts come in and they stick. They don't run and hide because, there's no fertile ground for them to be planted and bloom and blossom.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it is so, you guys, I still walk around and I hear old crappy tapes and I transpose them, or I project them onto other people. I project my old tapes from my childhood onto Bobby. I project my old tapes from my childhood onto my husband. I project my old tapes onto people that I'm meeting for the very first time that are welcoming me into their place of business or their church or their home or somewhere where I'm serving or speaking or whatever it is. Like, I have all these old tapes that just play constantly, and the message stays the same and the voice changes. Like, if I feel like I haven't done something right or good enough, or I'm running late, or I haven't completed something in a manner that I am proud of, I picture an old tape from my childhood with Bobby's voice on it. And Bobby would never say those things to me. She would never say, well, what is wrong with you, Athena? I mean, seriously, get it together. I mean, what is your problem? It's easy. Figure it out. You have one job. Figure it out. What is your deal? Like, what are you, lazy? You're such a lazy ass. Like, Bobby would never say those things to me, ever. But if I didn't do something right and I didn't do something on time or to the level of excellence that I expect from myself, then I transpose old crappy tapes with Bobby's voice on them, or my husband's voice, or just anyone. You guys, it's so normal and natural. That's what survivors do, and it doesn't make it right. And I'm trying so hard to change that about myself. I desire to change that programming, and I am working towards changing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And sometimes just those steps in that direction, no matter how small they are, is a huge victory. So don't beat yourself up if that's where you are. Just keep moving forward in the direction that you want to go.
Yeah.
And you will get there. It's never too late.
Oh, that was the light bulb this morning. It's small steps, long road.
Oh, sounds like a fortune cookie.
It does. But like, it's what you just said a minute ago. Like, any little step forward is still progress. But this morning during chat, it was like small steps, long road or something. I retyped it out.
Yes. Yes, it's a very long road. But when we walk on it together, it makes it easier and it makes it better. The next bullet point on the one page, it's never too late to begin a career that you love. Many survivors begin a beloved career in their 40s and 50s. Many, many, many of us. I am, let's see here, 3 months away from turning 50 years old. And I feel like I am just now finding my feet in my career.
Woohoo!
And I was voted most likely to succeed in high school. And I lived in shame for decades because I didn't feel like I succeeded. Because, of course, success comes from being a career person, right? Success doesn't come from being just a wonderful human being. But, you know, I had to come to that realization that success for me was overcoming what happened to me as a child and not letting it kill me, not letting it drive me to kill myself, and overcoming that to me is a much, much bigger success than any job I've ever held.
Yeah, I would agree.
So, you know, if anybody else doesn't feel that way or believe that, I'm okay with it. And that's where, so I'll get down to that bullet point in just a minute. But first, let's talk about getting help dealing with procrastination and self-sabotage. If those are coping mechanisms that repeatedly derail your career opportunities. Somebody mentioned this in chat this morning, and I thought it was an excellent thing to address on our one page, because many of us struggle with procrastination. In fact, we did a video about this. You'll find it on YouTube. You'll find the one page on nomoreshameproject.com. So go in and access those. Procrastination is actually an anxiety coping mechanism. So don't judge yourself if you procrastinate. It's in our minds, it's easier to delay doing something than to do it and be judged badly for it. That's where procrastination comes from. And self-sabotage is all about the thought that we don't deserve good things.
Yep.
So if those two things constantly shoot you in the hiney when it comes to job opportunities, then do what you need to do to get help coping with those things. Someone in chat this morning said that procrastination had cost her multiple job opportunities. And I understand that. You know, I mean, I've been there when I've lost job opportunities because my depression was so bad that I just couldn't cope. It's real and it's hard. The last thing is strive to spend time with those who will support you as you learn to define yourself by who you are rather than your job title. Limit time with toxic people who undermine your self-esteem because they judge you according to whether your job meets their expectations. Okay? Just like Athena's abuser, who tried to convince her that she was a horrible person because she wasn't making the amount of money that her abuser thought was appropriate.
Yep. Guess what? I'm not a horrible person.
No. No.
Guess what? I probably will never be a horrible person because I strive every single day to love other people and be kind and serve my community.
Yeah. You know, I mean,
because I'm not a selfish beep. Sorry. Okay, sorry.
You're silly. Athena's been traveling.
I've been driving more than I've been sleeping. You guys, I'm sleep deprived, and I think it's making me a little bit cuckoo. But that's okay. That's okay. I'm going to sleep really, really good tonight before I leave and drive to Texas tomorrow morning. So I'll be good by the time I get to you, Bobby, I swear. That's
okay. I'll take you any way you are.
Can we still go to Cheesecake Factory?
Absolutely.
I don't have a Cheesecake Factory where I live, so I would love to do that. That would be amazing.
In spirit.
Susan is here.
Hi, Susan.
We love you, Susan. We think you're amazing. You're a hero. Oh, Simi says I'm a master of mild speaking. I don't know what mild speaking is, but I don't know that I do anything mildly. Do I do anything mildly, Bobby? I wonder what Simi means. Simi, what do you mean by mildly? I take it as a compliment. Oh, Bobby, did you mute yourself? I don't hear you.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, there you are. There you are. There you are. Okay.
I was
No,
just looking at the Twitter stream.
I think we answered everyone's questions. And Grace Hope stopped by, and she says that those old tapes play like a broken record non-stop. And yes, they do. They definitely do.
Yeah, I just have this image of taking that tape out of my head, and like we used to have, cassette tapes and then VHS tapes, which I'm sure some of you are young enough never to know those, and I'm dating myself, but I already told you I was almost 50. Take those tapes and pull that magnetic tape out.
Yes.
Do you remember, Athena, when those would get jammed up in our cassette deck players?
And you would try to like get a pencil and
yes.
Yeah. Well, I tried to do it with my finger, but then I realized someone taught me the pencil, and that was much easier because then you don't hurt yourself. But yeah, it was such a mess. Such a mess.
Yes, but see, we can do that now with those tapes. So just pull it out of your head and pull that tape out and shred it into little tiny pieces and chuck out the cassette.
Sounds like a good plan to me.
They don't serve us anymore. At one point, they may have served us, but they don't serve us anymore. So we can get rid of them.
Brenda just messaged and said, "Are you two together? You're hilarious." No, we're not together yet, Brenda. We'll be together tomorrow. We love you. Thanks for stopping by. You're so awesome. We love you. And I'm surprised I saw it pop up. Oh, it's because I'm on my phone. That's why. But yeah, you guys, this is such a great topic. Remember, you are not what happened to you. You are so much more than your abuse. And coming up in 2016, we're hoping, maybe 2017, but we're going to talk about, let us know. You guys give us the greatest ideas, and we usually will take your ideas, every single one of them, into consideration, and then see what is humanly possible and what actually we have funding for and all of that. That's why I said virtual workshop on finding your purpose, and perhaps like something that could launch you into some sort of a virtual type career if you are disabled because of your abuse. I'm thinking careers as like artists or some sort of like online teacher, like maybe making a course like on Skillshare or Udemy. Jack, maybe you could like create a course on Udemy or Skillshare where you teach people how to like make graphics or teach people how to play the piano, or teach people how to do all the different things that you do. So, and I mean, so many things, you guys. I mean, there could be parenting courses on Udemy or Skillshare. I mean, Sammy, you're an awesome parent. You're a parent to a special needs child. I'm thinking, I mean, there's writing, there's art, there's, voiceovers on Amazon.com for Audible. They hire people to do books and to make the books audiobooks. I'm actually currently doing one right now. So, and those are all things those are all things that I'm doing virtually. So anyway, such a great topic, you guys, such a great topic with some solutions and some strategies. And that's what we are here to try to give you, is solutions and strategies. So, Bobby, are we about done with our broadcast, other than putting up our contact information and letting people know of all of our weekly events that we have available for them?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if you are already well aware of our contact information and how to get in touch with us, all of our websites and social media information and email addresses and all of that, we will bid you a very fond aloha and welcome you back next week as we talk about pre-verbal memories and how to cope with pre-verbal memories. That is if perhaps you're having some sort of memories of abuse prior to being, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, 3, 4, 2, 1. I mean, we start talking at about 1 to 2 years old, and sometimes we'll have flashes of memories from when we were babies, and we think, well, that can't be real. I would never remember back that far, but our bodies remember. There's books out there called The Body Remembers. They're somatic memories. They are they're very real, and emotional flashbacks are very real. So this is a very, 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 very heavy topic. Obviously, trigger warning, hello, a week in advance. But please join us next week for pre-verbal memories. What are they? How do we cope with them? What are some tips, tricks, and strategies on how to ground ourselves, self-soothe, reach out for professional help? I mean, these can be very, very triggering. So, but we're going to pull up our contact information, and we appreciate you guys. You're the reason we show up every single week, and we love you, and we love being a source of support for you and everything you need for healthy, informed trauma recovery. And here is how you can get in touch with us.
Yes. Let's do this.
Yay.
Yay. Let's talk about.
There we go.
There we go. Let's talk about how to join our safe community here first, because that's the one that pulled up on my screen. Yay. As I talked about earlier, we have 3 Twitter chats a week. The first one is on Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and that is 6 p.m. in the UK. The hashtag for that is CSAQT, Child Sexual Abuse Question Time. Then you are currently watching our second Twitter chat of the week, which is an interactive video and Twitter chat. The hashtag for that is No More Shame. That is 6 p.m. on Monday evenings, which is 2 o'clock Tuesday morning if you're in the UK. Then on Tuesday evening, we have sex abuse chat, and the hashtag is hashtag sex abuse chat, and that's at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern, and that's Wednesday at 2 o'clock in the morning. And always use the hashtags to interact with us on Twitter when you're in a Twitter chat, because that's the way that we know that someone is participating in the chat. We do watch the No More Shame hashtag throughout the week, and so if you want to post something on Twitter to get in touch with one of us, you can certainly do that. We have multiple Facebook support groups that you can join. And we have this so simple 4-step process to access our safe support groups. They're secret. No one will know that you're in them. If you do a search for them on Facebook, they don't even pop up as being in existence. So hop over to Trauma Recovery University Facebook page. I'll put that up in a minute in terms of knowing the URL for that, and then friend us. So send a friend request to Athena and I recommend you do both of us, because sometimes she's available when I'm not, and when I'm not, she is.
Well, we're on different time zones. So yeah, it's hard, you guys. We need you to make sure you friend both of us.
And then send us a message saying, I'd like to heal in a safe community, and we will help you to get plugged in to one of our support groups. And if you want to watch the broadcast and the Twitter Q&A every week, you can always do that at bit.ly/trauma recovery U. And yes, the capitals matter. The capitals of the states there, I feel like. Okay.
They matter. Capital T, capital R, capital U.
Oh dear. Stop that. Okay. Now let's look at the other one.
Oh, what Simi meant by me being a mild speaker is that, or speaking mildly, is I tweeted, she sent Susan, shiny blue dress Susan, a tweet saying, we're all still hanging out here thinking that you're awesome. And I said, yeah, we all think she's awesome. She's a hero. And then so what Simi was saying is that's putting it mildly. Like, oh. Yeah, so I get it now. It just took me, it's like I was having a blonde moment. Hello. So
Okay, let's look at how you can connect with us. And we just ask that you be patient when you contact us. It's not always possible for us to get back to you right away.
I
Athena
try. I really try.
yeah, Athena travels a lot, and I have a lot of commitments here at home. So we do the best we can, honest. We would just ask that you try and be patient with us. You can reach me at bobbylparish@gmail.com. Athena is at athenamobergspeaking@gmail.com. And then jointly we have No More Shame Project@gmail.com. And if you want to have Athena come speak to your group and you want to talk to her about that, that is the email address where you should get a hold of her, athenamobergspeaking@gmail.com. You can also connect with us on Twitter. I'm at Bobby L. Parrish. Athena is at Athena Moberg. And then Trauma Recovery University is at Trauma Recovery U. And here are the Facebook URLs that I was talking about just a minute ago. There is the URL for Trauma Recovery University. And then there's my business page, Bobby Parrish Coaching and Consulting. And then there's my personal page, which is Bobby Parrish. And then we have Athena's business page at Athena Moberg Speaking, and her personal page, which is Dawn Athena Moberg. We would love to be friends with you. Please don't hesitate to send us a friend request. You can watch our replays anytime you like on YouTube. We have the Trauma Recovery University channel there on YouTube. Just search for Trauma Recovery University. We have the Trauma Recovery University Roku TV channel, and then you can connect with us also on Google Plus at Trauma Recovery University. And once again, there's the bit.ly link to watch us every week, and tweet us, bit.ly at Trauma Recovery University. Recovery.
Mama, Wakabi University.
My Elmer Fudd impression there.
Yes, I was trying to think of who that was. I was like, what's that guy's name? Okay, yeah. So very quiet. I'm hunting rabbit. Okay, guys, yes. So that is it for us this week. We are so excited about next week's episode on pre-verbal memories. It's a super, super, super delicate, painful topic to actually have memories of being sexually abused before you could even speak. It is horrific. It's horrible. It's terrible. And it's triggering. And I specifically have one memory, and I have more that come like on a very regular basis, since this is the line of work that I'm in, and I am embracing it and I'm healing. But it is super traumatizing and triggering when you do have those memories of pre-verbal abuse. And we highly recommend making sure that you have the proper support in place when you are going through this area of your recovery journey. You need professional support, like a therapist, like contacting RAIN.org, contacting the Samaritans, making sure that you don't end up suicidal and spinning out, because that is not what any of us want for you. We love you guys. So just a heads up. And please, if this video was helpful for you at all, give it the thumbs up and maybe share it with someone you know that may be a survivor. Leave us a comment below. The first 24 hours, when you guys leave the comments, and then when the super awesome Harriet, HD, HW, don't know what kind of a nickname I want to give her, but I want to give her some sort of a cute nickname. I need to find out her new last name. That's what I need to do. When she switches over the video and does the transcription and everything, I lose all of your comments from the first 24 hours of when this video went live. So if I miss your comments, I'm so sorry. Put them on the new video or something, and I apologize in advance for not getting back to you. But anything else, Bobby?
No, I think that's it.
All right. I'm Athena Moberg, and this is Bobby Parrish, and we love bringing you everything you need for healthy, informed trauma recovery. So until next week, aloha.